back to the second installment for my kind of favourite roundup of my favourites. This has not come out well. Welcome back to the second installment of my 2014 favourites. That's the easiest way to put it. Basically it's a roundup of my favourite products from over the year, and I already did bases, so like primers, foundations and concealers last week, so I'll link to that below if you want to see it. Today I'm going to be doing my favourite facial powders and creams, so like setting powders, blushes, contour and highlight powders, and then highlight or contour creams. So I'm going to start off with the powders, and these were a no-brainer for me because they actually all live on my desk. So the first one is the least expensive one. It is by CATRICE and it is their Prime and Fine Mattifying Waterproof powder. This is a really unique powder because there's not that many waterproof powders out there, and you can see I have hit pan very successfully, and this will probably finish very soon because this little circle in the middle is getting bigger and bigger by the day. I get the colour number 10 translucent. I'm not sure was there other colours in it, but it's just a brilliant setting powder. It doesn't look very powdery on the face. It doesn't look powdery on the face at all actually, and I can wear this even over the mattest of foundations and it still doesn't look very powdery or cakey, so that's that guy. Next I have of course my very long favourite MAC Mineralize SkinFinish Natural. I still haven't upgraded onto the new repackaged version, so I'm still on the old one because I had a full one that I got to open there after finishing my, well, nearly finishing my last one. I've like the tiniest bit left in my kit, and this is the one I'm using on myself at the moment. But this is a brilliant powder. There is a misconception about this one that it's talc free. It's not. It does have talc, but again it doesn't look very powdery on the skin. It gives a beautiful, very subtle but luminous finish to the skin, so it's not a very matte powder. Great for anyone with normal to dry skin types because it contains natural oils that will help condition the skin, but it'll still do all the normal like mattifying and setting of the base. It photographs lovely, and I know some people are worried that it photographs with a bit of flashback. I find that it'll only happen with the kind of cheaper flashes or the very unfiltered flashes. If you're using a proper professional camera, you don't have to worry about it. So it's one that I very happily use on brides, and I use it most heavily in my kit over any other setting powders. And this one is €30 now, I think, in Ireland. This guy here was only about €6, €5 maybe. Very inexpensive. My next inexpensive kind of drugstore one is another one that I've hit pan on, and it's the L'Oreal Nude Magique BB Powder Velvet Skin Beautifier 5-in-1. So this was one that I kind of picked up without knowing much about it, and I ended up loving it. It has a lovely kind of soft yellow ivory kind of finish to it, or colour to it. I got it in the light skin tone. There's a medium, possibly a dark as well. So it says that it there's no shine, smooths and resurfaces the skin, undetectable coverage, fresh look and 8-hour matte complexion, and it is a lovely powder. I use it to death. There is a little sponge I think that came with it, but I just never bothered with that. And one that kind of just, like I said, lives on my desk. I use it quite a lot in my own makeup bag as well, and it's just one of those all-round nice ones that doesn't look too obvious. And then the fourth one is much more higher end, and it's a loose one, and it's a massive yoke here. It's by Chanel. It's the Powder Universelle Libre, so it's their natural finish loose powder. The reason I picked this up is because I saw that Nikki Tutorials was constantly going on about how amazing this was, and I've heard a lot of other people saying that they love it. Same with Lisa Eldridge, I think, really likes it. So I picked it up. I went for the number 20 Claire translucent one, so I think this is the lightest one, and it's just one of those beautiful like flawless powders. It does come with this puff, but I don't really use these so much, and the loose ones are a bit of a pain in the arse, so I don't actually use it as much. It's just not as kind of quick and handy as the setting ones, because I usually, what I do is I tip this over onto a bit of tissue and then use it. So a bit more, like I said, of a pain in the backside to use, but I do use this as well in my kit, so I get a little bit out and then, you know, use it with a load of my kind of lighter skinned models or clients if I'm using it on them. But I really love this stuff. Not the least expensive one in the world. It would be up around the €40 mark, I'd say, but well worth it if you're willing to put a little bit of money into your makeup collection or your kit. Next I'm going to move on to, let's see, we'll move on to blushers, because blusher isn't actually something that I tend to use a huge amount on myself. I do use it more on clients. I like the contoured and highlighted look rather than a lot of blusher, because I tend to go quite heavy on the lips and the eyes, and I don't like to do the cheeks as well. But my standout, absolute breakthrough products for the year when it came to blusher were the ZOEVA blushes. And they are called the Luxe Colour blushes. I do have all 6 of them. This is one that I'd wear a lot myself. It's called Last Love. There's also Shy Beauty, which is a beautiful kind of neutral one. And there's another pink one I love as well. But this is just one of those lovely natural kind of slightly coral shades. Very, very slight hint of a, shimmer, but very, very subtle. So these were just beautiful. Like the colour payoff is lovely. They're very, very soft and subtle on the cheeks, and that they don't look very powdery, and just beautiful, beautiful products. The packaging is just lovely. Really, really lovely products. I'm very, very impressed with the ZOEVA products in general, like I always say, but these were definitely my favourite blushes from the year. Another blush that has to be mentioned, because I use this again most heavily in my kit, and I would use it on myself again and again. I haven't upgraded to the new packaging. It's the MAC Mineralize Blush in Warm Soul. Now the new one, like all the Mineralize products by MAC were repackaged, and the new Warm Soul is not the same colour. It's less, like, I know this is not pink, but it's even less so. It's oh, I don't know how to describe it. It's just not quite the same as this, so I'm going to hold on to this till its last dying breath. But again, I love this, and I can just use it on pretty much every skin tone, from the very palest like myself up to quite deeper tones, which can be a little bit more highlighty the darker you go, but just a really lovely all-rounder blush. I'll move on to powder highlighters. So yeah, there's 2 pretty much that I have been loving. I got this guy earlier in the year, and this is the e.l.f. Baked Highlighter in Moonlight Pearl. Really lovely and expensive product. I love the tone of this, and I just think it's such a beautiful subtle highlighter. I don't like anything to be too obvious or too in your face. Sometimes I think, like I have the Soft and Gentle by MAC, which can be beautiful, but it can be a little bit darker on the lighter skin tones, so like myself, but also it can be a bit bitty looking, and I like this one because it's not at all. And of course, it being e.l.f., it was really, really inexpensive, and I got this in the actual e.l.f. standalone store in New York, but you can buy this online, and there's the .co.uk site as well. And then this was one I got a few months ago when Physicians Formula came into Galway here in Ireland, and it is their how would you call it, their Mineral Glow Pearls powder, and this is the translucent one. There are a few different colours, and it's just this beautiful pearl effect, if you can see there. I need to hide my face so this will actually focus. Will it focus on the product? There we go. And it's just so, so pretty. Again, there was a thing underneath, I think, yeah, where there's a little brush, which I don't really use, but this gives a beautiful, really high shine finish, but you know, not at all bitty or anything like that as well. And this has a less kind of severe whitey effect like this, so this can be nicer on slightly deeper skin tones, or if I have a little bit more bronzer on or stuff like that, that's when I'd use it. So really, really loved this. Now Physicians Formula is not very cheap, so I'd say it's more of a mid kind of range brand when it comes to pricing. I'll leave the cream products for last, so I'll move on to my like not bronzers. Well, I don't really use bronzer too much on myself, to be honest. If I did use a bronzer on a client, it would probably be the Pro Longwear bronzer by MAC, which I don't actually have in front of me, but that's what I would have been using most longer. I've got 2 of their colours that I would use in my kit most heavily. But on myself, I tend to use, first of all, the NYX Taupe Blush, which is what I have on today, and I would use this kind of all over as a bit of a bronzer, because I love the you know, the taupe kind of greyish undertone of it. There's not too much red in it, so it's perfect for the lighter skin tones. Again, this is something that I saw Nikki tutorials using to death, so I always kind of, like, she would have a very similar skin tone to me, so that's why I can kind of look to her above a lot of other YouTubers for product recommendations for myself. Really, really love this. I think they're about €7 or €8, maybe about €6 or €7 here in Ireland, and I would definitely be buying a backup. I did buy a backup of this, what am I saying? I bought a backup of this last week, I'm such an idiot. So I did buy a backup of this, and I picked up one of the brighter blushes as well, which I'm looking forward to trying out, but really love this. Then this guy, would be a no-brainer as well, because you can see I've hit pan. I have a second one of this as well. It is the Accentuate Sculpt and Shape Powder by MAC. You can buy them separately as well in the Pro Store, but I do like this duo. I would use it more on clients because this guy here, which is the kind of highlighty powder, I would actually use this more as a all over beautifying powder myself. It's not light enough to highlight, and really, again, lovely texture and all that. I can't remember the price of these because it's a long time since I got them, but really great products if you can get your hand on them. This would probably be my most used out of all the sets or the kits, which is the Faceform palette by Sleek. Now this would have a little bit more warmth in it than the other ones, but it can still happily wear it, and I love the highlight shade as well. I wouldn't use this as much. When I'm using it on clients, I possibly use this more, and these two are what I use most on myself though. So this is definitely a lovely highlight shade even on my very pale skin, and this is a lovely contour shade. It's still not too warm for my skin or whatever. So this is the Faceform palette in Fair. I think there's a medium one. I'm not sure if there's a dark one as well. There is another one anyhow. And this is now available in Care Pharmacy in Salt Hill, which is great. That's where I got my physician's formula stuff and my NYX stuff. So I will be making a lot of trips to that pharmacy. Love this though, and I think the Sleek stuff is great. And then one of the newer additions to the contour highlight kits, which was this guy here by 17, and it's very inexpensive, €7. It's the Define and Conquer contour kit, and this is just a lovely, lovely inexpensive alternative for anyone else. Again, a little bit warmer, not too far away from the like this would probably be a little bit even more yellow based, but not a huge million miles away from the Sleek one. But this again, I'd use it if I had a slightly warmer foundation on. And then this I love. I kind of almost use this as an all over beauty powder again, and to highlight as well. It depends on what foundation I'm using and stuff like that, but I've also been using these a lot on my eyes. Same with this, I actually tend to use these on my eyes a very lot. So really, really lovely powder again if you can get them. So you'll get that on boots.com. Now, moving on to cream and liquid products. I don't use these as much on myself just because of my skin tone, so I'd use these maybe more heavily in my kit and stuff. But I'm going to start off with my most expensive one, which is like kind of painfully expensive. It was about €50, and it's the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate duo, I suppose. It was #1 intensity. Again, I don't use these as much as powders, but this was a lovely one anytime I wanted to use it, particularly maybe slightly older skin tones. And it's a bit, no, I can wear it on myself, but I do tend to use it on clients more because it's a little bit warm or deep. I don't know, I tend to go for the more, you'll see in a sec with the next product. But I love the highlight as well, because the highlight here, it's very, very sheer. So it literally give a reflection, a gloss, without it actually looking like you've product on. So it looks like MAC's maybe Luna, a pearl cream colour base, which I do like, but it's much more sheer than that on. And this is a lovely product if you're willing to spend money on it. The whole packaging and everything is beautiful, so that's that. This is my most used cream contour myself, and you can see what I mean by it's a much more, like compared to the Tom Ford one, I can use this much more myself because not only is it a lot lighter, but there's much less warmth in it. So this is ILLAMASQUA's Hollow Pigment, and it's just a very, very kind of grey toned cream pigment, perfect for the palest of the pale. So really, really lovely product, and I'd use this a lot on my eyes as just like a cream eyeshadow as well, particularly as a base. Can't remember how much this was because I would have gotten it in bulk with a load of other ILLAMASQUA stuff, but really, really love that. Final kind of cream palette is the newest one that I got, but I'm literally in love with it since I got it, and it is the highlighting palette Precious Metals by Precious Metals highlighting palette by Sleek Makeup, and I did show this in a recent tutorial. So yeah, really, really lovely. You have your 3 cream blushers, or cream, try that again, 3 cream highlighters, and then your gold highlighter here, which I actually use as an eyeshadow. But this is a lovely, really pretty looking palette. I think it's around $11.50 or so there, or so here in Ireland. And you can get that on the Sleek website or on boots.com as well. And then finally, I'm going to show this guy, which is one that I'd use most heavily in my kit, and it's Strobe Cream by MAC. Now there are a few other bits that I'd use, but these are the ones I'd use most heavily and that I kind of get most use out of. So this is an illuminating like emollient cream, so you'd almost use it as like an all over cream base, like a like even as a moisturizer on some skin tones, but on some people then you'd only use it, you know, as the highlight on the top, you know, pop it along the top of your cheekbones or whatever, and really, really lovely. Again, it's very, very subtle, so not a huge difference from the Tom Ford cream, because it's, you know, it's sheer, it doesn't give loads of obvious product onto the skin, and really lovely for anyone who has a drier skin type. But this particular product is a cult product. First of all, I think it was used on Kylie Minogue's bum in her I'm spinning around video, so that's why it's so famous. It's $31.50 for this, but it also contains a lot of really good ingredients and contains antioxidants and other very skin healthy ingredients in it, so that's one of the reasons why I think it's very it's very popular as well. And I would use this a lot in my kit. I mean, I'd be on my third one of these in the last like year or two, like third, what you call it, bottle of these or whatever. So that's the last for this, yeah, the last for this video. So I still need to do eye products and like lip products, which will be coming up in the next week or two, and I might do like, I don't know, tools or like makeup brushes and stuff. We'll see. I'll see how many videos I've left to do for the rest of this year. But in the meantime, I hope this was helpful, and I'll just see you all in my next video. So long, guys.